Hello students, and welcome to the self-paced Nearpod video for the second common task, or the common task for quarter two. If you follow along with me on your screen, right, your directions for this video are to watch the video and respond to the questions as they pop up within the video. As a reminder, you must click the blue submit button at the bottom, either the bottom left or bottom right of your screen after you've selected your answer in order to move on to the next part of the video. If you don't hit that blue submit button, Nearpod will not record your answers and you won't get credit for doing this assignment. So please do that now. A question will pop up. You select your answer and click the blue submit button. Okay. So the quarter two common task, let's talk about the basics, right? You will read and answer questions for 3 excerpts from the selected text list. Those texts are Well-Read Black Girl, The Nickel Boys, or Girl in Translation. Okay. You will eventually select one of those excerpts to be rewritten in the form of a formal analysis paragraph to satisfy the common task prompt. To help you with that, I will be conducting mini lessons on analysis soon, right? Those will be coming in the form of those notebook time reflections. So the prompt, right? In a well-organized paragraph, analyze a text in which the style or rhetoric is particularly powerful, persuasive, or beautiful. Just a little bit of clarity on the words that are used in the prompt, right? By style, they mean the author's use of devices, right? That sets them apart from other people or other writers to be unique. Those might include things like figurative language, like hyperbole or simile or metaphor. Or maybe they have a tendency to use certain words, right? Diction. Or maybe they have a tendency to use short or long sentences. That's called syntax. We'll be talking more about those in our mini lessons. By rhetoric, what the prompt is asking about are those elements that an author uses to persuade somebody, right? Either by helping them see the logic behind something, something makes sense or doesn't make sense, by making them feel a certain way about a topic, or by kind of speaking to their expertise on the topic, or kind of using the authority of other experts to kind of boost their point. As a tip, right, when you're responding to this, don't try to answer all 3, right? Powerful, persuasive, and beautiful. It uses the word or. Just select one thing to focus on for your written response. All right. So the analysis paragraph itself, right? The basics of how it's constructed. There are 4 parts to any analysis paragraph. The first part is the claim or the thesis. The second part is the context or the summary, where you tell the person basically what happened in the entire excerpt. The third part is the evidence or the quote that you're going to use to back up your claim or thesis. Then the fourth part is your analysis or your explanation of how does that quote or evidence that you used from the text support and show what it is that you said in your claim or your thesis. So I want to talk to you very quickly about how to recycle your work, right? If you remember, this was the sample excerpt that I gave you from Between the World and Me, right? And I provided these answers to the 5 questions. And you remember all of those questions are very similar to the ones that you're seeing in your excerpts. You will basically need to ask yourself this question: how can I use the answers I've already given to write my analysis paragraph? When you take a look at the answers that I gave, you can notice several things. Let me get rid of the pointer. Sorry. You notice several things. First, the answers to question 1, 2, and 4, I can use all of those as part of my context or summary because they're basically just telling you what happened in the passage, right? About the boy with the surging rage in his eyes, about how the author ran home when he was scared but didn't tell anybody that that's what he did. And then in question number 4, about the boy, about how the boy reminded him of all those news reports that the author saw on TV of violence in the neighborhoods, right? So those are all background or context. I can use those for that part. When you look at question number 3, this one's a really important one, right? This question asks about a literary device, hyperbole, so I can use that term in my claim or my thesis, right? That's that part of the author's style. I can also use my answer as part of my explanation and analysis, right? Because not only did I identify what the device is, but here I talk about and break down what it actually means. In addition to that, the question also has a quote that I can use as my evidence, right? That part that's in blue, right? So this one's really valuable. It allows me to recycle everything that I've written here, basically, into my essay. And then lastly, question number 5 is the one that's probably the most obvious, right? It's the one that directly asks you to talk about something you found powerful, persuasive, or beautiful. The cool thing is, all you have to do is just get rid of the first person, right? All those phrases where you say, I think, and then you can use this as part of your evidence and explanation in your paragraph as well. This is what it looks like when you do that. And I'm going to do mini lessons on how to kind of get to this point. But if you take a look at those 5 answers that I had, and then you look at this paragraph, you'll notice that everything in there is coming from my answers, with the exception of these first 3 sentences, right? Ta-Nehisi Coates uses hyperbole and vivid description to write a powerful piece of text, right? I came up with that after I looked at my answers. Between the World and Me is a book about a black father talking to his black son about what it is like for him to grow up in Baltimore, right? I gave that piece of context or background myself. That didn't come from my answers, but it's important for the person reading my paragraph to know. And in this excerpt, he describes a time when he was a child and he encountered a boy with a gun. Right? So those are the only 3 original, like brand new things that I had to write. Everything else that you see here is from my questions. I just kind of cleaned them up and put them in the right order to make an analysis paragraph. And that's what you're going to be able to do as well. At this point, I'm going to ask you to type in any questions that you might have, and I'll be able to get back to you about the answers to those questions when we see each other in our next class. All right, and that is it. Thank you again for watching the video, and I hope you found this informative, and have a good break.